Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial we are going to learn about configuring IVR. We are going to learn about configuring IVR, or what we will call Auto Attendant. IVR or Auto Attendant, and in short we just call it AA. And IVR means indirect voice response. So we are going to configure this IVR or AA using a new feature in my voice business, which is called call flow administration. This is a flow diagram with a flow diagram with a drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop, drag and drop. Let's just call them items. A special note: this call flow administration is only possible if we are on my voice business release 10.1. So if you are on any release before 10.1, you are not going to be able to use call flow administration to configure your IVR or Auto Attendant. Take note of that. And so we move on. So as a learning project, we are going to configure IVR for a company. IVR for a company that we shall name Lab. So this company is going to have a message. Message number 1 is going to be a message for business closed. When the business is closed, which means after hours is going to play a message that we are closed. And when it is during working hours, we got a message which is message number 2 for business. When business is open, it is going to play a welcome. It is going to welcome the caller. Please welcome to our company Lab. And then it's going to say for sales press 1. For sales press 1. Oh, okay, let's just do it this way. Let's just say press 1 for sales. So the welcome message, after it says please welcome, is going to say, sorry about that, let's take this size and use this. Going to say press 1 for sales and press 2 for technical. And I'll just say number 3 or hold on for the operator. And then lastly to say, if you know the extension number of the person that you are dialing, please dial it now. If you know the extension number of the person that you want to talk to, please dial it now. Then from there it's going to hang up. It's going to hang up. Some people might prefer to say maybe press 3 to repeat this message. Okay, so this is what we intend to do. Let us continue with that. You can take a moment to have a look at the screen where I have just typed neatly the messages that we are going to play, and these messages we are going to record them. You can record them directly on the phone itself, but professionally it is advisable to give this message to a studio, where a studio will do a professional recording using a voice artist. But in our case, I'm just going to record it with a microphone, and then we are going to convert it to the correct WAV file that is required. So I'm going to show you how we record and how we convert the audio to the correct WAV file that is required by my voice business. Let's head over to my voice business and log in. We go to our system administration tool and we confirm what my voice business release we have. We can see in our case that we've got a release 10.3. The active software load is 10.3.0.16, which complies with core flow administration. We can go further to verify this by coming to voicemail and core flow administration. We go to voicemail and we are going to look for voicemail core flow administration. This is the feature that we want. If by any chance this is missing from here, then it means you are on a old release that doesn't support core flow administration. So you then need to upgrade your controller to the latest release. So when we record our prompts, we are going to upload them to the system. We are going to come to music on hold, system audio source, and then we are going to upload our messages as RAD messages. And then we need to check. Okay, we are not going to upload them as RAD greeting, but there is another way of creating a IVR where we are going to upload the prompts to RAD. But I'm just coming here so that we can ask the system what kind of WAV file the system accepts. So we just click select RAD greeting here, and then we are going to come here, and then we are going to look at this part. We have clicked on the help file. We are going to look at this part. The audio file must be in the following format. wave A low or a U low G711 8 kHz 8-bit mono. So we are going to go with wave A low G711 8 kHz 8-bit mono. So it's very, very important to know that whatever we are going to record is going to be in this format. Okay, let's go ahead and do our recording. We are going to do our recording using, we are going to do it online. We are going to record our prompt online. We are using the website. We are going to go to the web page for g711.org. We are going to go to this site. This is where we are going to record our prompts, and we are going to save them in the WAV file format, ALO 8 kHz 8-bit mono. So let's go ahead and do that. We open a new tab here, and we are going to go to g711.org. Once we are here, we are going to go to this part which says need to record a new voice prompt from your phone instead. We click here, and we are also going to select this. A low wave 8 kHz mono CCIT A low. So let's go ahead and select A low there, and then we are going to click here. These two will let you record a voice prompt particularly using your regular phone, and will let you download the file to upload to your phone system. Okay, it is asking me to enter my email address here, and I don't want to show my email address in this recording. So we are just going to abort this, and we are going to try it another way. g711.org. We are going to open a voice recorder here. This is our Windows voice recorder, and what we want to record is this. Thank you for calling Lab. We are currently closed for business. Our operating hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Thank you. Then let's rename this to business closed. We rename. Then we are going to record the second one. Thank you for calling Lab. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical, or hold for the operator. If you know the extension number that you want, please dial it now. To repeat this message, press 3. Thank you. Let's rename this to business open. We rename that. Let's open the file location for these two. There they are. Let's play the business closed one. Thank you for calling lab. We are currently closed for business. Our operating hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. Thank you. Okay, that went well. Let's play the other one, business open. Thank you for calling lab. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical, or hold for the operator. If you know the extension number that you want, please dial it now. To repeat this message, press 3. Thank you. I hope this is not giving an echo. The speaker when it is playing back through my microphone. Okay, so we are done with this part. Now we are going to go back to the website again. I'll just copy this link. We are going to now to come here. We select our ALO again here. We select our ALO again here, and we are going to browse and select our recordings. So let's go ahead and do that. Going to browse there. I am going to browse to this location. I'm going to get business closed. We are going to choose medium quality. You can choose high or maximum. It depends on whatever you fancy. And I'm going to submit. It's asking us for to donate. If you are happy using the website, please go ahead and donate. Then we are going to click here to download. Then once it's going to go and sit in my music folder, but I can choose to let it sit in the desktop here. I'll create a folder for it. We'll call this lab prompts. And we are going to save it in there. And we start to download. Then we close. And now we are done with our business closed. We have converted it. We are going to go back and convert the other one. We also make sure we go to ALO again. We browse. It's going to take us to the same place, to the same folder. We do business open. We leave it on medium. And we submit. We donate again because we are happy with using the website, and we download. Let's check that it goes to where we want it to go. And we start to download. Then it's done. We open the folder. This is where we have saved them. We are just going to just clean up so that they are named nicely. This one is the message for business closed. This one is the message for business open. We can just play them to test. Let's play the business open. Thank you for calling lab. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical, or hold for the operator. If you know the extension number that you want, please dial it now. To repeat this message, press 3. Thank you. Okay, I am happy with that. We close the folder. We close g711.org and then we continue. So in continuation, the first thing that we need to check is that we've got voicemail ports. We are going to come here, system setting, voicemail port capacity. Depending on our system, by default you could find that there is a different number of ports that will be configured here. Depending on the kind of controller that you have, you might find it could be 4 here, or it could be whatever number. So you have to verify and confirm if the number that is here is appropriate for what you want. In my case, the number of ports is 10 here, and I am happy with that 10. And so once we know that we've got 10 ports, we then carry on to configure the ports by assigning a dialable number, numbers to the voicemail ports. In our case, we've got 10 ports, and I am going to assign them numbers from 6001 up to 6010. Up to 6010, which is 6010. So in the event that you change this number of ports by either decreasing them or increasing them, either by adding or subtracting, you will then need to reboot the controller. If you just change this, if you change the number of ports here, you have to reboot the controller. Take note of that so that the new number of ports takes effect. So let's move on. From voicemail port capacity, we go to voicemail ports, and here we can see that port number 1 has no directory number, which is the dialable number. It has no directory number, and all these ports up to port number 10, they don't have numbers. You can see they don't have numbers. So this is where we are going to change them to 6001, 6002, 6003 up until 6010. Let's go ahead and do that. So I am going to do a range change, number of records to change. I'm going to say 10. Then the first number we are going to increment by 1. The first number is 6001. We are going to increment it by 1. And we leave everything else unchanged. The interconnect number we leave at 1. The tuner number we leave at 1. Then we save. So at this point, when you have just configured these ports with a directory number here, this directory number, you are supposed to be able to, call it from any extension internally, and this number should ring and answer and say, please enter your voicemail box number. please enter your voicemail box number. So if I go to any extension, for example myself, I've got an extension that I have configured here, which is a generic SIP phone. A generic SIP phone. Okay, no, let's not talk about that generic SIP phone. I've got an extension here which is a Mitel 6930 IP phone, whose extension number is 2001. So I'm going to take up that phone now, and I am going to dial 2001. I'm going to dial 6001. Let me just get onto the phone. I am unable to dial any of these numbers. I am getting a busy. If I dial any of these numbers, I am getting a busy, which takes us to the next requirement. So after you configure your voicemail ports with the primary directory number, you are supposed to reboot the system. You are supposed to reboot the controller. You are supposed to reboot the controller for these directory numbers to take effect, such that you can call them. However, there is a way that assists us such that we don't boot the controller. There are some maintenance commands that we can run to stop a voicemail and then start voicemail. So once we stop voicemail and start it, it is the equivalent of rebooting the controller. However, there is a catch. We said we are on My Voice Business release 10.3. So whenever we are on My Voice Business 9+, which means 9 or 10 or whatever My Voice Business list is going to come after 10.3. The command to stop and start voicemail is not directly in the maintenance command. It is in the SSH connection, or it is a console command. But the commands are applicable for VXWorks. VXWorks is the what My Voice Business 8 minus, which means 8 and below. They come on VXWorks. So the commands to stop and start stop and start voicemail are linked to VXWorks shell. These are VXWorks shell commands. So in our case, because we are on my voice business 10.3, we are going to SSH to the controller with the root credentials. Once we have SSH'd, when we are on the console, we are going to elevate. We are going to switch from U-boot to VXWorks temporarily, so that we run these commands, and after we are done running the commands, we then exit the VXWorks back into U-boot. So how do we do that? We do that by just test something quickly here. We do that by SSH using, we are going to use Terratem. We are going to SSH to my voice business. My voice business IP address is 192.168.1.2. Then our username is going to be root, and our password, without saying what the password is going to be the root password. When our terminal is opened, when our console opens, we are going to enter this command mcd debug, and it's going to move us into a VXWorks console. And then once we are in the VX console, it is denoted by this, by an arrow pointing to the right. We are going to enter this command IPVM _ start. Take note that this is case sensitive. Like for example, this D is uppercase, and you can see in this case this I is lowercase. Everything else that follows is uppercase up until the S, and then the TART, this part is lowercase. And once we submit this, once we press enter, it's going to give us some feedback. Then it's going to come back to this arrow again. It means it would have stopped. We are going to say IPVM stop. The first command we run is IPVM stop. Then it's going to go through stopping the IPVM, the voicemail. When it is done stopping the voicemail, it's going to come to this point again, and then we are going to put our second command, which is to start the voicemail by IPVM start. And it's going to go through and then confirm to us that the IPVM, the voicemail services, have started. After they are started, we are going to go back again to our extension, which is 2001, and we are going to place a call to 6001, and it should ring and answer with a voice message, with a voicemail with a voicemail message to say enter your voicemail PIN number. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead and do this. I am going to open our term. Root. Let me just fix this font so that it's easy for you to see what we are typing here. So we are in the U-boot. So we are going to switch by mcd debug. We type enter. Now we are sitting in the VXWorks. We are going to say IPVM_stop. And we type enter. IPVM stopped. So it is confirmed to us IPVM stopped, which means voicemail is stopped. So the next thing that we are going to do is to start the voicemail. Let's go ahead and do that. So we are going to start the voicemail by typing IPVM_start and we press enter. I'm going to reach out for the extension 2001 and I am going to dial 6001. It's ringing.
Please enter your mailbox number.
It is saying please enter your mailbox number. So we have successfully restarted voicemail and activated our voicemail ports. So we are going to exit VXWorks. I'm going to click on Control Z, Control Z, and it has taken us back to the U-boot. I have just said Control Z or Control Z, and it has jumped from here to this. And we didn't reboot our controller. So once we are here, we can exit the SSH connection. I can just log out, or I can just exit. Okay, then we continue by going back into our controller. Our session is timed out. We have to log back in. So just to recap, we were in voicemail, we went to voicemail system settings, we went to voicemail port capacity, we verified how many ports we had, and then we went to the ports and we assigned directory numbers to the ports from the first port up to the last port, which means it was 6001 up to 600 now. Then the next thing that we are going to do is to create a class of service for these ports. We want to assign these ports to voicemail, so we need to go into class of service and create a class of service with voicemail enabled. So just to shorten this video, I went to class of service number 11. So class of service number 11 is a copy of the class of service that extensions are using. Let's go there, and I have named it voicemail here, which is class of service number 11. What is it that I did on this class of service? I went to advanced, let's go to general and scroll all the way down to voicemail, and I said voicemail port yes. This it has to be on yes. If it was saying no, you change to yes. It's very, very important. And so we have changed this to voicemail yes. So let us continue. Let us continue with our configuration. We are going to navigate to our ports under users and devices. We go to advanced. We go to station attributes. We are going to navigate to our ports. Our ports are 6001 up to 6010. 6001 up to 6010. We are going to assign them to class of service number 11. For day, night service 1 and night service 2. They should always be in class of service number 11, regardless of the mode, the day-night service mode of the controller. So we are going to go ahead and do that and assign them to the class of service. I'm going to go to the first extension here, and I'm going to say change. I'm going to do a range change in bulk. I'm going to say number of records to change is 10. So the number of records that we are changing is 10. We are changing class of service for day to 11. Change all to 11. Night 1, change all to 11. Night of service 2, change all the 10 to 11. Change all the 10 ports to 11. And we save. So we've just told these ports that they are in class of service number 11. We have just told these ports, these voicemail ports, that they belong to class of service number 11 for day, NS1 night service 1 and NS2 night service 2. They belong to class of service 11. And what does class of service 11 say? They say voicemail yes. So let's move on. We are going to move on by we've got our voicemail ports 6001, 6001 to 6010, belonging to class of service number 11, all of them. We are going to create a hand group, which is also a voicemail hand group, which is going to belong to class of service 11 as well. And we are going to take these voicemail ports into this hand group as members. So we are going to have members 6001 up to 6010 belonging to this hand group. So we can call this hand group 6099. So this will be the dialable number for the hand group. And then after we create that hand group, we are going to create another hand group, which we are going to give it a dialable number of 7099. This one is empty, which means it has no members. So this one is also voicemail hand group, and it also belongs to COS 11. And this hand group 7099, which has no members, becomes our IVR or Auto Attendant pilot number. What do you mean by pilot number? This is the number that's going to direct us into our IVR or Auto Attendant. If somebody is going to dial 7099, they are going to go into the IVR, and once they are in the IVR is going to use this hand group to play messages. By using any free port. From any of the members. Okay, let's do this. We are going to have an incoming call. It's going to go into hand group 7099, and from there it's going to go to hand group 6099, and 6099 has got some ports. So if these ports are the ones that are going to play messages or prompts. So when you hit this, when it says thank you for calling, it is playing it using these ports. It will just pick any free port here and plays the music using that port. If this port is busy, it can go to the next port and the next port, and it uses any free port to play that message. And from there we go into our IVR or Auto Attendant, where we are going to have our menu node where it says press 1, press 2, where we are going to take action. When 1 is pressed, we are going to take a certain action. When 2 is pressed, we are going to take a certain action. And we know that when 1 is pressed, the action that we are going to take is a blind transfer to cells. And when 2 is pressed, the action we are going to take is a blind transfer to technical. And what is technical? Cells technical is equal to a ring group. Cells is a ring group, technical is a ring group. So we can say cells is ring group number 7001, technical is ring group number 7702. And in this ring group, we are going to assign our extensions that belong to cells as members. And here we are also going to assign extensions that belong to the technical team as members of this ring group. So the moment 1 is pressed, you are going to take an action of a blind transferring to this cells ring group, which is 7001, and the extensions in that ring group are going to ring depending on whether I want to ring them at the same time, which is ring all, or we want to cascade or whatever. But in our case, we are going to ring them all, because why we are going to ring them all is because probably we've got an office for cells. This is a cells person number 1, and this office, his extension is probably 2003, and maybe 300 meters away from him is an office for the cells person number 2, with his extension is probably 2004, and maybe another 300 meters away from him is another source person office, probably extension 2005, and they all belong to the cells ring group 7001. So if you send a call into the cells ring group and we say probably a cascade or ring the first free extension or whatever, it means when a call comes, it's going to come and ring this extension. While this extension is ringing, because this cells person 2 is 300 meters away from this, they cannot hear that this phone is ringing, and also cells person number 3 cannot hear that there is a phone that is ringing here. So this phone is going to ring, and probably the caller is going to hang up before the caller was answered. Or we can say, if there is no answer, can you move on to the next extension? And if there is no answer, can you move on to the next extension? But if it is going to ring here 3 times and then move to here and ring 3 times and then move to this extension and ring 3 times, it means this caller has been holding on for probably 9 rings, which could probably mean maybe 3 minutes or 6 minutes, whatever is the equivalent of these 9 rings. You can calculate, but it's not the scope of this tutorial. So what it then means, probably by the time the call moves from here to here, by the time it makes the first ring here, probably the caller is fed up and would have hanged up. And maybe the call can come to this. It can come and ring this extension when this officer is busy with a walk-in client, so that they can't take a call, or is probably gone for a bathroom break. So the call is just going to ring at a phone where there is no one. until it moves to here. Probably there's no one again here until it moves to here. So because of this inconvenience, we prefer that the members, which are the phones, they all ring together. What is then helps us with is that as 2003 is ringing, 2004 is ringing, 2005 is ringing. If there was no person here and there's a person here, this person can answer before probably the 3 rings have elapsed. So which means our caller has a higher chance of hitting an extension where there is a user who will answer. So depending on what the customer wants, it's something that is customizable. You agree with your customer, you agree with whoever you are configuring it for, how you best want your ring group to behave. So moving on, we are going to move on to creating those hand groups. We create the hand groups by going to users and devices. Then we go to group programming. Then we go to hand groups. So we are going to have this hand group 20699. Okay, let me just delete this group and redo it. Existing code. So we come to users and devices, group programming, hand groups, and we are going to add our 6099. We say terminal. This terminal is very important. You must make sure it's on terminal. Then we are going to say class of service is 11 because it's a voicemail ring group. And then we are going to scroll down. It's going to say hand group type. Hand group type. It is a voicemail hand group. And we are going to save. Now that our hand group is created, it has no members, so we are going to assign members to it by clicking on add member here, and we are going to assign 10 members, which means we are going to assign those ports 6001 up to 6010. We are going to increment by 1, and we need their presence to be always present here. We make sure this is present, we save. So we are going to create now our IVR or Auto Attendant pilot, which in our case is going to be 7099. We are going to add 7099, and we can just leave it on terminal. Class of service and group name, we can just say IVR AA pilot. Its class of service is 11. It's 11. Then what hand group type is it? Is voicemail. Then we save. Okay, let's also go back to 6099 and give it a name. and group name, we can just say voicemail HG, which means it's just our voicemail and group. We save it. Now let's see what happens if I call 6099. I take an extension here, my 2001. I make the call 6099.
Please enter your mailbox number.
It's ringing, and then it has picked up voicemail port 6001.
Please enter your mailbox number.
Which is port number 1, and it is saying please enter your voicemail PIN number. You remember that when we called 6001, okay, let's go back to our red. When we called 6001 from 2001, after we restarted our voicemail ports, it would say please enter your voicemail box number. So when we assign this port to the voicemail hand group, which is 6099, so when you call 6099, it's also going to ring the first port, the first member, and the first member is going to answer with the same way how it behaves when it is on its own. If 6001 was busy, 609 was going to call upon 6002 and make it play the same message. But our goal is not to play please enter your what. Our goal is to play a message which says thank you for calling, we are closed, or press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical. So we are going to get to that. But now our next step is this. Remember, I've got 6099 as our voicemail hand group with members in it, and we said we got 7099 as our AA pilot, which means our callers will come to this number, and this number will take them to here, and this one will take them to the ports where messages or prompts are played. So let's see what happens if I call 7099 now. I'll go ahead and take my phone, my extension 2001. I will call 7099. It is saying to me 7099 is out of service. So I can't call 7099. If I try to call it, it will say out of service. But we want to be able to call it so that it takes us to 6099. So for us to be able to call this number and make it active or live so that it takes us to 6099, we need to use call forwarding, which we call call rerouting, first alternatives. So we need to go and configure this so that once you call this number is going to reroute to 6099. Call 7099, it should reroute you to 6099. And we do this by going to call rerouting first alternatives. They are numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think up to 64. I'm not sure for this version, but it's something that you can easily verify. But this number 1 is reserved for all the directory numbers on the system by default. If you just create any directory number, it's going to sit in this by default. So you should leave it, you don't touch. You can start from 2 going downwards, provided it's free, it has not been used for something else. If it's used for something else, use the one that is free, or check if it is okay to repurpose it. So in our case, 2 is going to be free, so we are going to say on 2 we are going to call reroute forward always to extension, or to hand group, or to ring group, or to any directory number. And in our case, we are going to forward it to a hand group. So we are going to put the hand group number here, which is hand group 6099. So we are going to, this is a table. Let's just say this is a table. This is a table called Core Rerouting First Alternatives. And table, on row number 1 of this table, we are saying reroute to 6099. So we are going to go to extension to hand group 7099 on core routing now. This is core routing. And we are going to say for day service, for night service 1, for night service 2. You are going to operate using what we have configured in the table, core rerouting first alternative, but row number 2. When you are in night service, you are going to use core reroute for of that alternative table, what we have configured on row 2, and also what we have configured on row 2. So what then this means is that if a call comes through to 7099, it's not going to say this 7099 is out of service, because it is saying take my calls that come to me and reroute them to whatever has been assigned in this table called core rerouting first alternatives at row number 2, and take my calls there. Then we come here, we look what is this table, what does it have on row number 2. It says 6099. Then the system is going to take the calls to 6099. Instead of now playing an out of service for 7099, it's just going to ignore 7099 and take its call to hand group 6099. And when hand group 6099 receives the call, it's going to wake up a port to probably 6001, the first idling port, and say, hey, you've got a call for you here. Can you play something can you play what you've been assigned for you to play? And then we are going to hear the message that 6001 has been assigned to play. So let's go ahead and do the core rerouting first alternative configuration. We do that by coming to core routing, call handling. We scroll down, core rerouting always alternatives. So just a quick correction. Let's go back to our red. just a quick correction. I was saying we are going to use core rerouting first alternative, but in actual fact we are going to use core rerouting always alternatives, which is this one and not this one. We are not going to use this one. So just a quick correction there, we are going to use this one. So this one, what we said, number one, we don't touch, we leave this one as it is. By default we don't touch. By default, do not touch, do not change anything here. By do not touch is do not change. But we are going, because this one is free. How do we know it's free? Because it's empty here on the directory number. It's empty. There's nothing configured here. If you look, this section is the directory number. So in our case, we are going to use this. It's saying no route, but we are going to say route. And it's saying no route, but we are going to say route. No route, we are going to say route. We are going to say route 26099. And we are saying whoever we are going to assign this number 2, core rerouting alternatives, CRAA, if I assign this to an extension, for example 7099, which is a hand group, if I say I'm going to assign you CRAA number 2, it means when there is a call, an incoming call, which is originating from a device which is a DDID, I will route to 6099. A call originating from a tie line, I will route it to 6099. If there is a call coming in originating from a central office from a device CO, which is probably an analog line or whatever, a SIP triangle or whatever it is going to, I'm going to route it to 6099. And I'm also going to say any call that's going to come to whoever I give this number to, and it is being called from an internal number in extension, I'm also going to say reroute to 6099. Hopefully this is clear. So we are going to change this one. And put 6099 and put and route. So let's go ahead and make that change. So it is saying no route, but we are going to say route. We want to take here and here and here and here and directory number 6099, and we are just going to say VM hand group. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to say anything originating from a DID number, I route it to 6099. Anything originating from a tie line, I reroute it to 6099. Anything originating, I route it, and I'm going to say vmail and group. For the last time, I'll try and explain it. Any device, which could be any extension, any directory number, it could be a console, it could be a hand group, it could be a ring group or whatever. If I assign it to, you are going to see where we are going to assign this to, but for now just remember that if we assign a hand group a 2, it's going to do this. If there is an incoming call from a DID number, route it to this number here, 6099. If there is an incoming call from a tie line, route it to this number. If there is an incoming call through the CO line, route it to this number. If there is an incoming call that has been originating internally, which means it's another extension, probably 2001, calling the number that we gave a 2 to, which is a hand group, and we are going to say we have hand group 7099, which we are going to assign this 2 to. So if an extension 2001 calls 7099, 7099 is going to refer that call to this table, call rerouting alternatives, and say, tell me what is in number 2, and this is the table number 2, and it's going to say, what must I do with 2001 who is calling me? It's an internal device. It's going to say, okay, if it's an internal device, we must route it to 6099, which means take that call to 6099. So this call is going to come and ring 6099, and 6099 being a voicemail hand group has members like 6001, which it is going to make to play whatever we've assigned it to play. Hopefully it's clear now this time around, so we will save. Now we have saved. Now we are going to take these two and assign it to hand group 7099. Let's go ahead and do that. We are going to assign that by going to call rerouting. Remember, we went to call handling, to call rerouting, call routing. From there, we opened call handling. From call handling, we went to call rerouting alternatives, and now we are going to call rerouting. This is where we are going to find 7099. Let's go ahead and go there. So we can just search for a number called 7099. We say go. And this is 7099. Let's talk a bit about it. Right now it is saying, okay, let me do this. Call rerouting for day. Call rerouting for day. Call rerouting for night service 1. Call rerouting for night service 2. Right now you can see all the extensions are on 1, and we said 1 is the default, and then this is why we said do not touch 1. We said do not touch 1 because 1 belongs to anything by default. So when it's on 1 by default, it means if 2000 is called, 2000 cannot reroute to anything. The call should go to 2000. What does it mean for 7099? What it then means, because 7099 it's on 1 for day, it's on 1 for night service 1, it's on 1 for night service 2. It means anytime, whether it's day, it's night 1 or night 2, if somebody calls 7099, the call should not go anywhere except 7099. But 7099 cannot do anything because it's out of service. If we call it, we are going to get an out of service, but we want it to reroute to 2, and this is the 2 that we configured in core rerouting always alternatives, which is here. We said if we put 2 here, it's going to make this call to go to 6099. When it's day and there's a 2 here, it's going to ring 6099. And also when it's night service 1 and there's a 2 here, it's going to take the call to 6099. And if it's night 2 and there's a 2 here, it's going to take the call to 6099. So let's go ahead and do that. Let's change this to 2. Change this to 2. So change this to 2. So what it is then means, it means this 2 is equal to 6099. 6099. 6099. So if a call comes in to 7099 during the day, it's going to go and ring. It's going to go and ring 6099. If a call comes through when the system is in night 1, it's going to ring 6099. If the call comes in on 7099 and it is night 2, it's going to come and ring here. So let us save that, and by that I am going to call 7099 from my beloved extension 2001. I will do this 7099.
Thank you for calling. If you have a touch-tone phone, you may enter the extension of the person you'd like to reach. For a personnel
So it has went and it has rang there 6099, and then a port is answered. Okay, we move on. Now we move on, and what we are going to do now is the subject matter of this video. What we are going to do now is the subject matter of this video. We are going to go to voicemail, call flow administration. And we are going to add. We are going to give it a name. Let's call it lab AA for IVR. When I receive a call a new call, we go to the message center. When I receive a call, what do I want to do? it is saying when I receive a call. So we are going to say when this AA IVR, when it receives a call, what must it do? It must check the schedule. What are we checking for the schedule? We are checking is business open or is business closed. We do this by assigning a time schedule here, which is our Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Remember what we recorded. Remember, this is what we recorded. Thank you for calling. We are currently closed for business. Our operating hours are 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday to Friday. So, we are going to say when it is Monday to Friday, between this time business is open, what then must happen? When business is closed, if somebody calls in, we look at the schedule, we find that it is a Tuesday, for example, and it's 6 p.m. So which means business is closed. Okay, let me use a different color here. Which means if somebody calls in on Tuesday at 6 p.m., they call in, which means business is closed, which means we are going to play a message or a prompt which says, thank you for calling, we are closed for business. Our operating hours are this. But if somebody calls in on Thursday at 11 a.m., business is open. So what's going to happen when the business is open? We are going to play that prompt. Press 1 for sales. Press 2 for technical. So we are going to go into a menu with these DTMF keys. So that when you press 1, we are going to do the blind transfer to there. So this is what we are going to do this by using, by dragging and dropping let's see. So we are going to say when I receive a call, which is a new call, I'll go into the message center. I'm going to create a schedule. So this schedule, I am going to say weekly schedule. I'm going to tick mark Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and I am going to say 8:00 and time is 05 p.m. Okay. So when it's off hours, what should we do? Off hours means, okay, let's see, what did weekly schedule? Off hours. Okay, let's start this afresh. When I receive a call, a new call message center, I will go to schedule and I'll call this weekly schedule, and on hours I am going to say play a message. And what message are we going to play here? We are going to play once I click on message here at the bottom here, we are going to say play the message business open. And where is that message? It is recorded. Let's see. Choose file. We are not going to record, we are going to choose file. And we are going to choose our file. It is here, business open. We start to import. File upload was successful. We close. And if you look here, it is now saying business open. It plays that message. Let's look. Action ID 02 blah blah. Now we go back to our weekly schedule again, and we come here. We were on hours, which means business is open. We said play the message business is open. So what if it's off hours? We must play a message which is say business closed. So we click onto the message center and we select a message, and what message are we going to play? We are going to play a message which says business is closed, and we go to recording. We choose our file business closed. We import that. File upload was successful. We say OK. We close that. Okay, when business is open, and we have played the business is open. Okay, let's take a step back. When business is open, let's delete this section. We go back to weekly schedule. When business is open on hours, we go to the message center. we are not going to play a message, we are going to offer a menu. Okay, so this menu is, we call it business open menu. And what are we going to do? We are going to, okay, let me explain here in writing. I might have confused you so that we don't lose each other. So we created a schedule. When a call comes in, okay, let's go back to our red. When a call comes in, we have created a schedule which looks at whether business is open or whether business is closed. If business is closed, we are going to play message that the business is closed, and the call is going to be hung up, and that's it. But when business is open, we want to take action of, say, press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical, and hold for operator, or press the number if you know it. Okay, and hold for operator. If you know the number, you press it. Dial it now. So for this message to play, so that people will know to press 1 or to press 2, we use what we call a menu node, which is the one we have put here. So this menu node, so the menu node now allows us to first play prompt, and then whatever is in, then we action what is in our prompt. So the first thing for the menu node is to play a prompt. After I play a prompt, we say press, you are going to see 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and so on. So we are going to say when 1 is pressed, we are going to do a blind transfer to sales, and when 2 is pressed, blind transfer to technical. And of course we said 3 to repeat the message. And then when there is no action, which is equal to hold for the operator. So our session is timed out, but we are going to log back in onto the system, and we are going to create, let me change the color here, we are going to create the sales ring group and the technical ring group. So let's log in back to the system and create a sales ring group, which is going to be ring group 7001, and we are going to create a technical ring group 7002 before we continue with our call flow administration. So the system has just helped us by timing out. So let's get onto the system and do that. Let's say okay. We go to users and devices, we go to group programming, we go to ring groups, and we are going to add a ring group. So ring group, we are going to say 7001. We are going to say ring mode, ring all. Ring group type, we leave class of service, we just leave on default as it is. We leave the rest for the purpose of this tutorial. We are not going to do overflow, we are just going to leave everything on default and say ring group name is sales, and we save. And we are going to add a member of the sales extension number. I'm just going to add one member there, which is extension 2001. I save. Then let's add the technical ring group, which is 7002. We leave the ring group mode on ring all. Ring group name, we say technical. Ring group type, okay, we leave that on default. Everything on default, we save it. And we assign a member there. We add a member, which is another extension which is belonging to technical. So just to recap, we have created a ring group for sales. Let's go back to our red. Created a ring group for sales, and we have given it number 7001, and we have assigned some members. We've done the same for technical, and we've also assigned, we've added members to it. So if a ring group does not have members, it doesn't work. It needs to have members in it. So right now, if I dial 7001, it's going to ring the members. If I hadn't put members, if I dialed 7001 and there were no members in it, it was going to give me an out of service. Okay, let's just for demonstration, but this video has grown long, let me not demonstrate an empty ring group. That's your homework, you will do it on your own. So let's move on by going back to the call flow administration. Voicemail, call flow administration. We click on change. So it timed out before and then it went back to what we had corrected. So let's work faster this time so that we don't get kicked out again before we save our changes. But because I need to explain, I have to be slow. So when it's on hours, we are going to go to the message center and we are going to choose menu, and we are going to say business open menu, and we are going to play a recording. We are going to choose a file, business open. We start to import. File was successful. We close, and when we press 1, so what we have said here is that we have said we have created our menu here. This is our menu node. When business is open, we move the call to the menu node. The menu node is going to play prompt, which is this prompt here that you saw us select, and then that's why you can see saying recorded here. If we hadn't uploaded a file, this recorded would not have been there, but this recorded tells us that our prompt is inside there. So after it plays that prompt, is going to say 0, 1, 2. These are keys. What happens if somebody presses keys number 0, number 2, number 3, and so forth? These are the keys that we see. This 0 here is this 0. This 1 here is this 1. This 2 is this 2. So we said if somebody presses 1, it should blind transfer to sales ring group. If somebody presses 2, it should go to technical ring group. So we are going to click on here for this one, and we are going to choose blind transfer here, and we are going to do also the same blind transfer. Let's go ahead and do that. For 1, let's click in 1. We are going to blind transfer. We are going to blind transfer to sales. We are just going to say blind transfer to sales HG, which is a specified number 7001. We can use to say suppress prompt. So when we say suppress prompt, what do we mean? You find that if somebody presses 1, the system is going to play a message to say you are being transferred to 1 or 7099. If you just want the call to transfer silently, if somebody presses 1, then the call goes to sales, and then the caller will start just hearing the ringback tone to show that the call is ringing the sales ring group. We uncheck here. So for our demonstration, let's leave it ticked for now. So for key press number 1, so what is this? What it is saying is that if somebody presses 1, it's going to do a blind transfer to sales ring group, which is what is here. This sales ring group is this one. So let's go again into our menu. We go to You can see now it is saying blind transfer to source and group. We now go to key number 2, we click on it, we say blind transfer to technical HG, which is a specified number of 7002, and we choose to play the prompt, and we go back again to our business menu node, and we look for 3. We said if somebody presses 3, it should play this. Let's see. Okay, before we deal with key number 3 for replay the message, let's save, otherwise we will lose our configuration. Okay, so we can continue for 3. If somebody presses 3, let's take it to the message center. Then let's go back again to the business open menu, and let's scroll down. Time out. If somebody does nothing, we are going to do a blind transfer, and we are going to transfer to operator, and we are going to specify operator here, or if we know the extension number of the operator, we can just say specified, and we put the extension number of the operator. If the operator is extension number 2000, for example, put 2000 there, and we can suppress prompt. So let's suppress prompt and let's send it to the operator. And let's go back again to the menu node, and let's look for the last action. Is if you know the extension number that you want, press it now. This is the multi-key. Blind transfer to the gathered digits. Okay, this one, let's not suppress the prompt. Let's go back to our menu node. Maximum DTF length. Maximum DTF length is the length of our extension numbers. There are 4 digits, so let's put 4 here. And then we save, and then we close, and we move on to the last one or two last things to do is to go to voicemail boxes. We are going to add our AA pilot number. I remember I said our AA pilot number is 7099. We said this is our AA pilot number, which when we call is going to take us to 699, which is our voicemail and group, and we said this is going to play this port. So we are going to come here and say it's 7099. We will say This is our AA pilot. Then for extension number, we are going to put 7099. Mailbox type. Okay, let's leave it like that for now. We save that. After we do this, we go back to our VM call flow administration and we click on change and we go to actions, edit, start with template. We select our template, we say OK, and we enable call flow and we save and we close. At this point we can test. At this point we can test by calling 7099 from an extension internally. If everything works, then we are going to route incoming calls to come and ring 7099. So I'm going to test with using this micro SIP soft phone. I'm going to call 7099.
I'm sorry, the person you're trying to reach is unavailable at this time. Begin speaking after the tone, then hang up when you are finished, or press any key for further options.
No, that is not correct. That is not correct. Let's see. Okay, let's continue by going back to the voicemail boxes and we click on 7099, but we are going to click in this part here. Let me just highlight it. This part here. We are going to click on that one. We click on that one and then click when I receive a call and we enable call flow and we save and we close and I receive a call, edit, start with template, this template, OK, we save, we close. Let's test again. 7099, call that. Thank you for calling Lab. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical, or hold for the operator. Thank you for calling Lab. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for technical. Thank you for calling Lab. Okay, just hold on. Why is it not transferring? Let's have a look again at our call flow administration. So I've lost my system, but we were done with the configuration of the auto attendant. What is just left was to test. So as you can see on the screen, I've lost my system.